Welcome everyone to my broadcast for this afternoon. Uh, Becoming live at 5 today, and I want to basically interview myself and tell you how I became, how I asked the Lord, could I build and redirect my front yard as a garden. We started back in, well, let me take you back this far. Back in 2010, I was working at Walmart and ended up getting hurt. I had a situation that took place that affected my back and affected the situation with me on things that I was doing. And I had a lot of things that was going on that was dealing with me health wise. I continued to work with Walmart, continued to go through the process of doing a lot of things that I was doing with Walmart at the time. And then later on down the line, around 2016, things continued to get worse and worse. I ended up leaving Walmart in 2016, and then as I left Walmart, I ended up um, working at other various different jobs and stuff. I had filed for my disability, which at the time I was only at seeking disability for the sake of having back surgery and going back to work. It wasn't something that I was permanently looking to forward to doing or even being on. No, I'm not knocking disability or anything on that nature as well. I'm still on disability even today. But in 2020, um, I officially started receiving my disability, and then I went from a lifestyle that um, where I was climbing corporate ladder to a lifestyle where I was climbing no ladders. And so from 2020, um, I, in a sense, literally became bored. It was a point where I wanted to do more. I was used to working, used to getting up, going and doing different stuff, and used to going and doing things that were constantly required for you to work a lot. I was geared in on that lifestyle. I was in that lifestyle for years, and I was at Walmart a total of 25 years. So that was a lot. That was a lot invested. A lot of things that I was doing. I was at one store just for 17 years, only just at one particular store. And so coming out of Walmart, coming out of those areas and the corporate world, doing the things I was doing during the Walmart time, played a lot of played a lot of role in my life. Still today, it does plays a lot of role in my life. And then, of course, coming in and getting the things that I was doing, I was actually trying to. I want my like I said, my ultimate goal was to go back to work and have a. That really, I wanted to go back and start doing what I was doing because got pretty high at Walmart. I was had worked my way all the way up to a support manager, and I was still as well as I was an inventory specialist manager. So I had two titles because I was such a high ranking person for the hourly manager, the hourly supervisor, rather. And so I wasn't on salary. And so I had a lot of things where I actually did a lot of stuff. And then, of course, Walmart taught me tremendous amount of work ethics and how to carry yourself, how to maintain this way. And then, of course, I left Walmart and went to um, other smaller jobs where I didn't really make them. I made money, but not like I was at Walmart. But then, like I said, in 2020, I officially became, according to Social Security, disabled. And so in 2020, I dealt with areas of financial that I would call lack. I guess that'd be the best way to put it. Um, it wasn't a downfall. It really wasn't because, like I said, when I first initially went to get assistance or get help from Social Security, I really only went for the purpose of getting the assistance I needed in order to have my back surgery, and then therefore I can be able to go and actually get the information and stuff that I wanted to do, and then I just wanted to have the surgery and go back to work. That was in my mind frame, and it stayed like that for a while. I didn't realize how bad my back really was. Um, didn't realize how bad off I really was. The only thing I was focusing in when I was working, and so I was just basically there. I did some stuff, and I wanted more. I wanted more, and I still want more out of life. So I ended up on disability, and so for the next 4 years, um, 4 to 5 years, I went through some harsh changes with disability, and I went through some harsh changes with my body. A lot of time when you're working and you're doing a whole lot of stuff, and you as a man, I'm put it this way, as a man, when you're working and doing a whole lot of stuff, you really sometimes don't think about your body. You think about everybody else's. You think about the condition. You think about things that's got to do it. Your mind is kind of like everywhere. Um, you kind of take yourself and you kind of put yourself in a not above someone, but just put yourself in a different perspective and say, "Yeah, I really know I'm okay." And we had kind of had this fake facade of saying, "Yeah, I'm okay." And that's where I was. I was in this fake facade. I was telling myself I was okay. I had puffed myself up, believing that I can do more than what I was doing and everything. And trust me, everything is what I'm saying is not a negative or a downfall. It's just the honest truth. And so I wanted to be able to get more. I wanted more out of life. Um, right around in my third or fourth year of disability, I became extremely bored from the things that I was used to doing to the things that I found myself wasn't doing. So I went to my main source, which is the Lord, and I went and contacted Him. And I wanted to do something that would be proactive and be worthwhile, and something that I can put my hands in, and I can feel like I'm doing, um, I'm accomplishing stuff. So I initially prayed about it, talked to the Lord. Then I went to my fiance and talked to her, which is my second source, and went to her and had a conversation. And me and her talked. And then after we talked, I said that I wanted to make a garden. It was crazy because of the simple fact is that I never wanted a garden. When I was a child, my dad and my mom sent myself and my brother down to my uncle place that had a garden that stayed down in Lower Ellisville area of Mississippi, and it was actually I was actually sent down there for the summer as a punishment because of the work and things on that nature. And of course, once I got down there, I said, well, I'm gonna learn how to become a farmer. And they was true farmers. I mean, true 100% farmers. The only problem was that he had a business down there, and of course, his last name was the same my last name, which was Hare. And whatever Mr. Hare said, it went. It was the people honored because, of course, it was my uncle. Well, I went down there and used the Hare name, and I just basically helped him run his business a different way, which supposed to have been a punishment, ended up being a business opportunity for me. And I was young. I was a child, around the child age then at the time. And so I have always been into business. Always been into uh, I've always been into business and been into things that will make stuff be more productive, more manageable. And I knew growing up that that would be my specific role in life, that I would be in management, owning my own business, operating successfully, helping other folks do stuff successful, and then of course making myself be successful in all areas. So I knew as a child that I would have a business mind frame, and I knew that anything that I seen and done that had a business aspect to it. Um, so I majored in business. I did everything in business, and so I'm still majored in business to this day, and I'm still business minded every time. Nothing has nothing changed over those years of me going to my uncle's farm, except for the fact I didn't work. um, I worked, but not the way they wanted me to work. I got up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning when they got up. They said they had to get up when the chickens got up. I guess that's a true saying. But I got up when they got up. Um, I watched them go out there and get eggs out the chicken. I didn't get it. I watched them go get the hog, and they went out there and rustled down the hog, as they call it. And then I watched them saddle horses. Um, I did a lot of watching. I watched them do a lot of things. Then I watched them go to the garden. One of the fun parts of going to the garden was seeing all the fruits and vegetables that was there, and I said, "Man, I would like to have this one day." Not knowing that when I said that, that I would actually be having and desiring for this to be in my front yard, and then in the process, converting my front yard to a garden. So it's one thing to have a garden, another thing to have to convert your yard to a garden. So then I set out to do it. After we prayed and talked to the Lord, we I started with the little patch of land directly by my porch, and I got the grass up. Called one of my friends. They came over with their tiller. He tilled up that area. Um, he asked me like 6 or 7 times, was it in the water pipes and stuff. I didn't like. I don't think so. But the tilled that part up. Then some other friends came by and said, "Do it this way, do it this way," and but it wasn't the game plan on how I wanted to do it. We did it because we really didn't know what we were doing. And then later on, me and my fiance got together and we decided we're gonna do it the way we want to do it. And then they said, and then we both agreed, no, let's do it the way the Lord said do it. And so then after that first year, nothing, we didn't receive a real good harvest. Matter of fact, we didn't receive anything that first year, I think. The second year, we started it back, and this time we did it the way the Lord instructed us to do it, not the way everybody else thought we should do it. And that was very important because we didn't want to do something that was not what God instructed. Besides, we prayed, I prayed, she prayed, we both prayed, went to the Lord, and we both came together on it. So it was a mutual agreement on what we was doing together. And then so our first year we didn't get anything. Um, it was no harvest at all, and it was a little disencouraging. Um, I wasn't expecting what I expected after that first year. But the thing about it is, it's like a business. You don't stop because you don't receive a harvest your first year, or you don't receive progress. You continue to go. You continue to build upon it. And so the next year, I started building again in the same spot. Didn't do anything different. Just continuing in the same area. And the next year, our harvest came forth. Um, it taught me a couple of things. The first thing it taught me was patience. And it is definitely still teaching me patience because of the fact gardening is, or so to say, sowing seeds into a garden it's not an instantaneous harvest. And then, of course, me being a minister as well, I will incorporate the word of God throughout the garden and throughout the things that I do to help other people as well as help myself. And then, of course, to give God glory. That's the most important part. And so, I would watch people that will take finances and sow it into a ministry, and then expect for that harvest that they sold in finances to reap next week. And so, and they wouldn't do it because they failed to look at seed time harvest. They thought when they sold it that it was going to automatically come up because some man or woman stood in front of them and lied, and and told them if you sold $10,000, you'll reap $100,000 next week, and they know that was a lie, but because it was hyped up and they believed it, they sold the money, or they sold $100 to get 1,000, stuff like that. And so, the Lord taught me patience in that. He taught me how to take time to sow the seed, and then he taught me the process of that seed, as that seed has to die. That seed has to go through a different changing and a different operation, and before it can even begin to produce a harvest. Now my expected end of that seed is that I would definitely reap a harvest from it. But I wasn't aware that one seed would bring multitudes of harvest. And so, building the garden, the Lord showed me, and that in the second year, the Lord showed me how the garden will progress and flourish, and how it will be affected in the years to come off of one seed. How one seed can feed families, how one seed can feed communities, how one area of a garden can feed tons and tons of people. And then they can take the seeds out of that one seed, out of that one harvest, replant it, and then they will have multiple seeds that will harvest off of one plant. So, take a watermelon, for instance, or a cantaloupe, for instance. One seed produces a cantaloupe, but when you cut it open, you got millions of seeds that you can take and spread throughout a city or a community, and every single person can have cantaloupe or watermelon and still have more seeds to spread throughout again, through different other communities and stuff. So everything is that. And then also in Genesis 1:11, it said every seed is within itself. And so, um, when we're looking at the seeds, we're looking at the harvest, we're looking at what is taking place. This harvest, this seed will come forward and it will produce a greater harvest, a greater part that will operate successfully, because this seed, this harvest will come forth, and it will cause something great to take place. So that was the first part that the Lord taught me, was the patience and the seed. The second part that the Lord taught me in doing this here was time. A lot of time I rushed it. I said, "Dog, it ain't doing that. Let me do this. Oh, let me go do that." And time I couldn't rush time like I thought I could. I tried, trust me. And so the Lord taught me how to wait patiently and how to manage my time. So I had to manage my time. So this goes back to, again, to a scripture in the Bible. And it deals with, when the person is sowing their tithes and offering. The words tithes actually mean a manager over their time, not over their tithes, over their time. So a person that manage well is able to manage over their tithes, which will also in turn be able to manage over their finances, manage over their lifestyle, manage over their seed, the harvest. So, a tither is a manager, is a person that can be able to manage successfully, operate successfully, and be able to come forth successfully by managing their percentage of what they have. And the Lord gave the lowest possible amount, which will be 10%, because if you can't manage 10%, how are you going to manage millions? How are you going to manage thousands upon thousands? So, And then when you think about it, the 10% of a tithe is you're nothing but you're managing money that is not even yours. The Bible said the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and everything that's in the earth belongs to the Lord. So when the Lord tells us to manage and to maintain, to manage, to operate in it, then He only asking us for 10% of that management back. And so He had to teach me through this process of time on how to properly manage my resources, how to properly manage my time, and then how to properly manage my ability to be able to understand, excuse me, the process of what was going on. And so this is very important, and especially when you get ready to expand your garden or expand your things out. You can't. The thing about growth is that growth doesn't stay in one spot. It always expands and grows. So anytime you're dealing with growth, you're dealing with the process, you're dealing with things in it, it expands out and it grows beyond that, beyond the point where you're at. What keeps you afloat in that is your time management, how you manage your time, how you manage your resources and the things that you have. That will keep you afloat, and that will help you operate to success, to be able to move forward and do the things that you have to do as you do it. And that's in anything in life. And so one day I asked God, could I convert my front yard to a garden? Well, after the fourth year of reaping the harvest, I expanded over to my carport, next to my carport, and I got a little harvest from it. Into going into my fifth year, which is this year now, I prayed earnestly before the presence of God, and I kept and I was telling the Lord, I said, and the thing is, I'm actually working part time, so I'm actually working again, still, doing the other stuff. And so I went to the Lord and I said, I want to span my garden. I want to span what you gave me, and I want to span it to the front yard, but I want it done the way you want it done. That's another important part. I expanded it out to the part of the front yard because of the fact I wanted more. I like room. I like room in this. There'd be a lot of room. I like room. I don't like stuff all crowded up together. So I wanted to span it out so that I can be able to put fruit trees, grow vegetables, grow watermelons, cantaloupe, corn, put collards out, grow tomatoes, go to as well as all different types of stuff. I got grapes gonna come up. I got strawberries, um, and got different trees, different types of fruit trees and vegetables, and I mean all different stuff. And so, and then, and as I was building this and putting this all out and mapping this out, and majority of this was all on paper before it ever came to pass. Um, so I constantly prayed about it, constantly talked to the Lord about it, went back and forth to God numerous of times before anybody ever seen any progress, anybody ever seen anything take place. Um, I shopped. I went to different places. I bargain shop. I didn't buy nothing on impulse. Went to so many different places, so many different areas to see what they offer, see what this person offers, see what I asked different people opinions. I watched YouTube videos. I did research. I got books. I bought books and studied the development of leaves. I studied the different soils. I did this tremendous background history. And everything I found, I took it back to the Lord like He didn't know it, and told the Lord about it, every single thing. And this was before any ground was broken, and the only ground that was broken was the ground that was next to my steps. And so this whole area was set up specifically for that purpose. And then after I don't know, maybe some months or so later, I actually started expanding. I bought some raised beds, metal raised beds, and different stuff. And I just started expanding and putting different stuff into the areas that I wanted to put them in, because I wanted to be able to see something that was going to cause a harvest to come up. And then harvest started coming up out of these different raised beds. And I said, "Oh God, I'm so excited." So I went back again to the Lord, and again we went back. And after I went to the Lord this last couple of times, uh, the Lord gave me a vision, and in the vision I saw the garden. I saw the layout. I saw the way I got it designed right now. I saw the full layout, the whole complete part of it, all of it, and then I even saw how it was going to be constructed out, um, and every part. And I searched uh, for different woods, different places. I asked God where it was at and all this and that. And then a lot of places I went, it was very expensive wood. And then I prayed about it, and the Lord put it on sale. And so it was expensive, but it was on sale. Um, and so I got it while I was on sale. And then I purchased a lot of other stuff while I was on it. Most of the stuff I got was on sale. I didn't just get it all. I didn't pay uh, regular price. No, the majority of the stuff I didn't pay regular price on anything, including the mulch and the plants. I think honestly, some of the plants is where I actually paid regular price. Everything else was on clearance price. It was marked down price. It was on rollbacks. It was just different stuff. And God strategically put it together for that purpose. And so after that point, and this again is going back to that time management and the patience of making sure you do it. So your time management is not buying on impulse. Time management is understanding what you're managing over is the substance and resources that God has given you that you're going to manage over as the Lord instructs you to do it. And so, under that time management, I did exactly what God instructed me to do. And because I did these things, this is the reason why I am converting my front yard to a garden. And in the process of converting my front yard to a garden is because of the greatness of the harvest that I will receive, and how beautiful and fantastic it is. Right now, today, the harvest, the yard look great. It'd be being more excited the big tree be gone, but it looked great as well. And so, next phase is to continue to get the tree gone out the yard, cut down the forest that's growing towards the side of the house, and then work on the putting the wooden fix up. And then, of course, the last and biggest major project is the house itself. Um, Putting the roof on, um, redoing it up, bringing the house up, facelifting the house. And so, and then once this one is done, then start on the house that I grew up in and converting that house to the ministry house and having it, and then of course uplifting, keeping roof on that house, windows, doors, all the same major stuff, bringing it up to date, codes and all that, making sure it's on codes and not violation, and all that, and that's future stuff. But at the same time, I will bring you guys along because this is my DIY channel and as well. So, um, but the day that I came today for the purpose of so that this broadcast can be seen at 5 o'clock is because I wanted people to not just sit back and look at the broadcast that I've been doing and just say, "Oh wow, this is sound like a good broadcast," and this is that, and then don't do anything else. I want you to come and like, subscribe, and follow my broadcast. It shows on YouTube when I check the analysis that 94,000 68 people has viewed this channel, and only 291 people or 262 people has subscribed. Shows that 94% of the people that are viewing this channel is in the United States. And then it shows other areas, Philippines, um, stuff, countries overseas, Canada, and different stuff like that. So all you guys that are sitting out there watching this, and a lot of you guys that have swiped away and looked at my shorts and looked at all this stuff, so please subscribe. Become a subscriber to this channel. Hit the notification bell. Become a follower, and you're gonna see things that I'm gonna bring into place. Again, first I'm gonna bring you into place some time management, so I can show you how to do the time management, and then second, bring you in some patience to work with it. Help me get the channel where it needs to be, and that way you can be able to see all the wonderful things I'm gonna do through the power of God. And so I prayed about that as well. So the reason that I converted my front yard to a garden is because I want to see a harvest. When I was doing that, I asked the Lord the other day, I said, God, what was the name of your garden? What was the name of yours? And so um, I asked him, then I asked the son, then I asked the father as well. And I said, no, like, what was the name of your garden? And he gave me the name of his garden. And it's a Greek term and Hebrew term. It actually means a fence-in kingdom. And it's actually spelled Yeshua, and it's a Greek term, and it actually still means Jesus, and the latter part is also a Greek, but it's also Hebrew/Greek. It's Gan. So and I actually took the Hebrew meaning of it, which is Yeshua, which is Yesus apostable as Gan, and it means a king's fenced in garden. So a king's fenced in garden. And so and that is found in Genesis chapter 1. It's found and it's both in Greek and in Hebrew. Also, it is mentioned in Latin. Um, and then it's also mentioned again in Genesis chapter 2, and then in also Genesis chapter 3. And so, and it's not mentioned in English version. It's actually mentioned in Greek and Hebrew version. So you in Latin version. So you have to look at it in that meaning of the word garden in order to get define this. And so it's Yahshua Gang, Gan. And so I named my garden Yahshua Gang, which means Jesus Christ, the King's garden. And so that's the meaning of the garden. So the garden name is Yesus apostrophe SGAN, and that means the King's garden. And so this is the purpose of having a garden in my yard, is because the father had a garden. He named it the King's Garden place, and he placed Adam and Eve, Adam, in the midst of the garden. And then from the midst of the garden, he placed it all the fruit trees and everything that he wanted in the garden, and that's how it came to be. So my version of doing my front yard and converting my front yard to a garden is based upon a biblical Bible, and it's based upon me operating. The purpose of it as well is that it got me active. Um, it's something I look forward to doing every single day. Um, I can go into the garden. I can work in the garden. I can just go out there and sit in the garden, and I can hear the birds humming and the peaceness of it. And I go into the garden because it's a place where all this chaos and destruction is happening in the world. But I walk into the garden and there I get the presence of the Lord. I can visit the presence of God in the garden. I can sit in the garden and eat vegetables and fruits. I can reap a harvest from the garden, or I can just go in the garden and just meditate. So the garden was intended for one purpose, but God gave it to me for multiple purposes. So this is the reason why I'm expanding my yard, my front yard to a garden. This is the reason why I have fruit trees that I was going to put all the way through my yard, but I actually got them in containers now, and I only got two in the front in the yard, and then I got two feeds in the ground. But this is the purpose why I'm doing it. And as things continue to manifest and go forward, I will eventually take some of the fruit trees that's in the containers I have, the pots that I have, and put them to the yard in different areas. My first part to get that tree out of there and get it gone, so then I can be able to actually line it up and do it in a certain way as well, and then have it done up greatly. Again, I would bring you guys along on that process. So I wanted to just come and have this conversation with you today. Basically, just do this interview with myself and let you know what it's about and how blessed and how wonderful I am excited to know that God is doing great things through the garden and in my life. And I pray that He's doing great things in the midst of your life as well. And it's a blessing. So this evening, when this broadcast comes live again at this evening at 5, I do ask that you guys please like, subscribe, follow me to this channel as well. Follow me on my PKM Ministry channel as I will upload more videos on both channels and bring the word of God to both channels. It's a blessing. It is a true blessing to have the opportunity to come and be able to minister the word, to be able to be an impact in the lives of people. And I pray that um, any of the thing that I'm putting forth out here, that it's affect your life and that it helps you grow. I pray that when I'm telling you about how to harvest something and how to plant something, that you see the progress of that growth and you see the things that are taking place and you come about it on areas that you need to see, and then you can watch it manifest and grow. I pray that those things are helping you. I pray that the words that I'm saying to you are manifested in your life. It encourages you. It desires for you to say, to get up, to pick your own self up. Don't use disability as an excuse not to do anything. Don't use an opportunity where you say, I'm just not, I'm just done. Um, don't allow sickness or disease to keep you crippled in an area where you done gave up. Your life is more than that condition. It's more than that. Your purpose is more than allowing something else to invade your life and take what you don't have or what you had. You're not walking on the road to success looking that like you was. It doesn't look like you're being successful. It look like hey, I don't know what else to do. I'm not being successful. Stop and stop beating yourself up. Take the time to look at your situation. Take the time to inventory what's around you. Take the time to manage your area of expertise. And then once you take that time to do that, then I'd say take the time to walk it out, to encourage it. Encourage yourself, build yourself up. The Bible tells us to build ourselves up on our most holy faith. So we are to encourage ourselves and to build ourselves up. We're also to walk out what the presence of God is desiring for us to walk out and how He designed for us to do. Circumstances and situations can look hard. When I got on disability, it looked hard. It was, like I said, it was something I never wanted to do. I never honestly wanted to get on disability. And then once I got on it, I definitely didn't want to be on it, especially with the amount of money I was getting. And going in debt and all this. Um, I wasn't mentally, physically, and I definitely wasn't prepared for where I was going. And so a lot of stuff has to be prepared. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 16:1 that the heart of man, or the thoughts of man, rather, whichever kings want you to do, is prepared. We prepare our stuff before. But the Lord, He holds the reins. He knows our understanding of our hearts. In our heart, we are making preparation. In our heart, we prepare for things to come. In our way of doing things, we prepare ahead of time. If we're going out of town, we prepare to go out of town. But we don't prepare for disasters that hit our lives every day. We don't prepare for upsets and setbacks that comes and cause us to, you know, to get off track. Those are unforeseen things, and a lot of time we can't prepare for those. But when those things happen and when those things come, we must learn time management and we must learn how to effectively get ourselves out of the situation and move forward. How to effectively operate in areas, how to effectively take hold of the situation that we're in and not use it, not allow the situation to keep bringing us down, but to take that situation and turn it around for God's glory, turn it around for the good, turn it around so there'll be something successful in life. Your life is successful, but it can be successful on every single thing you do. Is your destiny is in your hands. Your destination. It's you that makes the decision to change things. I wrote a book called Birthing Out Your 12 D's in Your Destiny. It's on Amazon. I encourage you to go get it. And it tells you how your destination is locked inside of you, but it's up to you to make an educated decision or make a decision to change the circumstances in your life. And everything you do in life, you can change the circumstance because it's based upon your decision. You're destined for greatness. You're destined for the glory of God. You're destined to walk upright. You're destined to be a king's child. You're destined to give your life to Christ. You're destined to be saved. You're destined. And so by that destination and by those things there, you're able to walk forward and do exactly what God has instructed for you to do. And that is operate successfully, move forward successfully, come to what the Lord desired for you to do. And remember, most of all, your garden is sitting inside of you, and your seeds in your garden is waiting to be planted. So with that being said, I do ask that everyone would please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow me on this YouTube channel as I continue to upload more as well. And today at 5, when this video is uploaded, you will be able to see it completely as well. So please like, subscribe, follow me, and be come and be a part of this YouTube channel, as well as leave comments, leave a message inbox, but send a message. I read everyone as well, and I do respond as well. So again, thanks to everyone for coming aboard. Hello to everyone as well. I didn't say hello to you in the earlier, but thank you for being a part of it. And as always, we give God praise and honor and glory. And I want to say, y'all have a blessed and great afternoon. Hallelujah.